taken apart. She has a lot of faith in me.
I do.
She has a lot of faith. Because literally, when she saw it, it was like totally torn apart. It was back, tucked behind like 3 other pianos, and I had to kind of come around and like, how do you like the sound of this? You know, it wasn't even tuned, and I was kind of playing it. But you like the sound of it, even just a few chords that I played, even untuned and everything, and it just sounds really good. So Baldwin, this is a Baldwin piano, and this is back when Baldwin, I don't know if you're up on the piano industry. Baldwin has gone downhill, but back then they were awesome. They were really, I know, so sad.
Okay.
Back when this piano was made, Baldwin was awesome, and they were building really good pianos. That's what this is. So this piano was actually in, I found a marking in there, Salt Lake Board of Education. So this piano was in a school in the 50s.
That's awesome.
Cool.
So like, it was manufactured in the early 50s, and back then it was in school. So everything that I did, this part here is called the action, piano action. This comes out, so I had that out. All of these keys, look at this. See the key, how it extends back there. All of the keys individually come out. So I had the action out, I had the keys out. These pedals here, I had all of the mechanism that works the pedals. I had that all taken out. So it was just like the bare skeleton of the piano. I took it outside, I cleaned it, and I blew it out with super high compressed air. So there's like a poof of dust, you know, everywhere, and there's like pencils and stuff that came out of it. So it's super.
I believe that.
It's like super immaculately clean. If you, I mean, you wouldn't find any dust or anything in there. And all pianos, by the way, that are more than like a couple years old are really, really dirty and dusty inside. Even pianos from like 2005 will be really dirty. So this thing is cleaner than anything that we'll find. On the action, there are several hundred screws that kind of keep things together. So all of those are tightened up. If they're not tight, and they loosen up over time, if they're not tight, they cause problems. They cause clicky things. They cause problems with the touch. So all of those are tightened up. You also get a lot of squeaks a lot of times, particularly on the sustain pedal. You've probably played on pianos where the sustain pedal goes but so all of that is in there. So there's several hundred parts that move at once when you hit the sustain pedal. I guess not several hundred, I don't know, I guess there are a lot of parts, and all of those are lubricated, all of those. The touch, which has to do with just how all of the action, how they all work together. I regulated everything so that the touch is correct. And regulation, it has specs everywhere from like how far the hammers are to the strings when they're at rest, and they could be there, they could be there, they could be there. And there's a very specific distance, for example. I mean, there's a number of specs. There's 5 or 6 specs that have to be just right. You see how the hammer pulls away from the string there, kind of at the last minute. The distance away from the string that the hammer pulls away has to be just right. So I got that just right. You see how the hammers are all aligned evenly, the spaces between the hammers, and you don't have spacing like that where they're where they're touching or close, but they're all evenly spaced to align with the evenly spaced strings, because that's another part of the right touch and a part of the right tone is getting that hammer so that it strikes right in the center of the hammer rather than off to the side. That helps in getting the right tone. What else did I do too? I buffed these keys.
Now, are these real ivory?
No, they're not real ivory. But if you were to look at them, they're super shiny and slippery. You ever seen like a buffing wheel that's like cotton? So I buffed them all, and it's hard to see in this lighting, but they're like beautiful. There was a string that I replaced. those petals nice and beautiful and shiny. Oh, and then of course the cabinetry, I think stuff like that, and you know, dings here and there. It was a lot worse before I worked on it. That's typical of pianos that you see in a school. Yeah. Actually,
I know.
usually they're way worse. And actually this part here is
Gorgeous.
refinished
Yeah.
because it was so hammered. There was just no way that I could let this part here go. And there's a scar there that I couldn't get out.
That's okay.
But it was so hammered. I had to fix that. And of course I brought up the pitch. It was way out of tune, way flat. I tuned it. And you have an awesome piano. Oh, those knobs are new.
Cool.
Oh, cool. Really?
I'm excited to play it.
So you got an awesome piano.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Gorgeous tone, huh?
Doesn't it? Doesn't it have a great tone?
It does. Okay, we'll put it back together and then she's gonna snap a photo of you
Okay.
at the piano. And I am too.
Bye.
Amy.